Hi, my name is John Kokos. I'm president of the Seattle Marathon Association, and I'd like to welcome all runners, walkers, and volunteers to the 2018 Amica Seattle Marathon. I've been president of the Seattle Marathon Association since 2002, 16 years, and through those years I've seen a lot of changes to this event. This year's changes involve a new course. This year's course features our traditional start and finish in the Seattle Center area and finish at Memorial Stadium. We take advantage of one of the most popular running venues in the Seattle area, the Burke-Gilman Trail. My favorite areas of the course are the Ship Canal Bridge with its sweeping views and the Burke-Gilman Trail along the Fremont waterfront. It's a beautiful area. Be sure and take a look around as you run through there. So even though the majority of our course is on the Burke-Gilman Trail, don't think that it's all flat. There are some challenging portions of the course. There's a hill that you need to get over at mile 5 to cross the Ship Canal Bridge. And of course, to get off of the Burke-Gilman Trail, it's a hill up Stone Way. From mile 24 on the Aurora Bridge, though, you're downhill all the way to the Seattle Center and the finish. The Seattle Marathon has been an outstanding Seattle tradition for the Thanksgiving weekend since 1970. This is our 49th year. I've run the marathon myself 5 times starting in 1980, and I've been a volunteer for this and a board member since 1995. I'd like to welcome all runners, walkers, and volunteers to the 2018 Amica Seattle Marathon. Have a wonderful run, and we'll see you at the finish line.
Hi, my name is Danowsky. I'm a runner, and I love running because it is something I can do every day to take the stress away from the day and have some me time. And I also love running with my friends. I love the Seattle Marathon. This will be my 6th marathon and my 2nd Seattle full marathon. It's always such a great event. All the volunteers and the spectators are super nice. The expo is super fun, and the after race party is also really great. Leading up to a race, I try to get as much sleep as possible, and the usual carb loading. I have pasta and bread, lots of stretching, doing short little runs, and yeah, just making sure I try to get as much sleep as I can the night before the race. I also ran miles 7 through 10. Also really flat and scenic, and it's a great way to kind of get yourself ready for those hills.
My name is Trisha Stephan. I've won the Seattle Marathon 4 times, and I like to run because it gives me a sense of freedom and wonder, and because I really like to push myself and see what I'm capable of doing and achieving, and really seeing how much I can dig deep and make things hurt, which sounds kind of weird, but I really enjoy the self-competition, the inner competition, as well as the competition against other people. What I do to prepare myself before a race is to make sure that I'm eating a breakfast that I know works really well for me, because that gives me confidence in my energy, and having a knowledge of the course I'm going to run is really helpful, and just putting myself in a good mental place of knowing what my goals are, what I'm trying to achieve, not putting too much pressure on myself, but also having there be a reason and a meaning to what I'm doing. One of the first things I do to recover after a race is to drink an Odwalla, the vanilla protein Odwalla. And they don't pay me to do that, but it works really well for recovery for me. But I also like to cheer on as many people as possible after I've finished, and other people who are finishing, give them support and talk with people who finished ahead of me, and which isn't really physical recovery, but maybe a little bit more mental recovery. On the physical side, besides drinking my Odwalla, just making sure that I'm walking around and moving and not just sit down and get really tight and stiff. It's a little challenging sometimes to go for a run the next day, but either going for a short walk or going for a really short jog, even though I probably look ridiculous jogging down the street, it really does help my recovery and makes it go by a lot more quickly to where I can get back to running again. The main piece of advice I have for people running their first marathon is to pace yourself in the beginning. It's really easy to go out too fast because you're fresh and you feel good and you're excited and there's all these people around you. But you have to remember what the distance is that you're doing and how long that is and how much energy that really takes. And if you can hold yourself back and stick to your plan from the beginning, then you can really push later when it gets really challenging, both mentally and physically, and you'll have a much better result that way. There haven't been too many embarrassing things that have happened to me during a race. One is during the Bend Marathon back in 2004. I really had to go number 2, and there wasn't a toilet when I needed to go, but there was an aid station, and I grabbed, they had cups, but they were the red Solo cups, which were those are kind of plasticky. And that's what I used to wipe with because I didn't have anything else, and the trees that I kind of hid in had no leaves, so I couldn't even use that. I mean, I don't think anybody saw me, but I'm not sure it's embarrassing, but it was uncomfortable. The other interesting story I have is before the beginning of the New York City Marathon, because I was in the elite women's start, we start up on the bridge and there's no way to get off it. And there's also no toilet there for some reason, no porta potties. And I really had to pee because they take us out there pretty early. And so I had asked someone, hey, I really need to pee, where can I go? And they said, there's nowhere you can go. So all these officials had really long jackets on that went down to like their mid-calves or so. And they all made a circle around me and I peed in the middle of them. And when I was done, they opened the circle and I stood up and came out of the circle to see that there was a TV camera there. I don't know if they caught any of it or not, and I don't know if anybody saw it. I don't know if that aired anywhere, but that was pretty funny.
My name's Uli, and I've been running for 29 years now, and I love running primarily for the competition and the races I do, but I also really love to push myself. More recently, especially going out in the mountains and running for several hours on single track trail and rocky and rooty trails. But I pretty much love to run everywhere. It doesn't really matter. Well, I love running the Seattle Marathon because it's a local race. and you don't have to travel very far, and I know a bunch of people that are in the race, and it's just fun to run through your own city on some of the roads that are normally run on training runs, and now there's lots of people and spectators and aid stations, so it's fun to run through the city of Seattle. I prepare for a race really probably 4 to 5 months before, with base training and then more specific workouts and tempo runs. The immediate preparation before the race is just to get enough sleep the nights before the race and eat really well, so that your energy stores are full on race day. I need to get up probably 3 to 4 hours before the race and eat breakfast. If I eat too close before, then I tend to get stomach problems. The other thing is you just got to be ready for the weather. Seattle can be anywhere between 60 and sunny to kind of a snowstorm, and so you got to be ready with the right clothing and the right shoes, so you're not too hot or too cold during the race. Well, usually after a race, immediately I can't eat or drink too much when I race really hard, so it takes me an hour or two till I can do that. Refueling is definitely very important afterwards, but it usually takes me a few hours. After the race, I tend to hang out at the finish area and see the next few runners coming in and hang out and talk with them, and then after the race go home and just relax and hang out at home, lay down. Between 1999 and 2012, I've run and won the Seattle Marathon 10 times, and I don't really remember what my favorite one was. The first one was kind of accidental because I was just supposed to pace a friend, and he just ran slower than expected and just told me to go ahead, and I found myself in the lead at mile 20, and I thought, well, I might as well just finish it now. The worst one was probably when I had sort of food poisoning after Thanksgiving, and I was really empty at mile 23 and had to stop and at an aid station for a minute, and I was just praying that nobody was close enough behind. So that was probably the most memorable one. Oh, my advice for new runners who run their first marathon is very similar to what Trisha said. Pace yourself, don't go out too hard. It's very easy to get carried along with the whole group, and just you feel good, and you just go out faster than you plan, and obviously the first 10, 12 miles it feels great, but you really have to stick to your plan, and then if you feel good at mile 20, then by all means pick up the pace and run faster. But if you go out too fast, especially on a hilly course like Seattle, it can really come back to haunt you in the last few miles. My other hobbies, I guess, especially in the summer, I like to do mountaineering and combine running with mountaineering. So one of the things I've done was do a few speed climbs on Mount Rainier and some other of the local mountains.
Hello, I'm Sophia Leo. I'm a Seattle Marathon 5K, 10K 2018 female champion. I'm also run 2014 and 15 Seattle Marathon. I'm the female champion as well. I like to run because it gets me out of the door enjoying the beautiful scene of Seattle. Seattle Marathon is our city's marathon, and my friends and so many people like to cheer runners. The course is beautiful, and it's during Thanksgiving break, so it's a good event to wrap up the year. Normally I will at least get about 8 to 10 weeks specific training for marathon, which I will do from 18 to 24 miles long run. And as we know that Seattle is famous for the hills, so I will try to do the last part on the hill, so it's kind of race-specific training. I think for Seattle Marathon, it's a good weather always. The course is beautiful. The support is very good. So just go on your own pace. You are not competing with anyone else but yourself. Try to get a rhythm early in the race, and the last 10K, try to really race it and enjoy the finish. I wish all the runners good luck.
Perfect.